Good evening or good morning to you all from wherever you are watching from today. So I'm going live today over on LinkedIn, over on our Coaching Catalyst LinkedIn, and over on our Coaching Catalyst YouTube channel. So whether you're watching over on YouTube, whether you're watching over on LinkedIn, or whether you are back in the studio, because we've given you backstage access as well to join us and to engage in the conversation today. So, my name is Rebecca Daniel. I'm one half of the Coaching Catalyst duo, along with my friend and business partner, Sarah Bremmel. And we do these client showcases a couple of times throughout the year. And we do them for many, many reasons because we want to, one, showcase the amazing clients that we get to work with. And you can see Amanda Connoly on the screen with me, who will be chatting to her in a second. But we also do this to increase our visibility and raise your awareness of the work that we do and the importance of supervision. So we run the Coaching Catalyst, Sarah Bremmel and myself, and it's a coach development and supervision service for professional coaches. So what we do in the Catalyst Collective and in our business, The Catalysts, is that we support coaches through supervision, ongoing learning and development, community, mentor coaching, and we've also just recently launched our supervision diploma. So we're training coaches to become professional supervisors today. But it's not about us today, it's about the people that make the community. And so I'm going to bring on screen who's already been on screen with me for most of the time, this introduction, Amanda Connoly. So hello, Amanda, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, Rebecca, and thank you for inviting me along.
Thank you. So I always hate, Amanda, introducing people because I know that I'm either going to ruin it or I'm just not going to do that person the good justice in
Okey-doke.
all the things that they do. So Amanda, in what way it feels right to you? How would you introduce yourself?
Okay, so I would say hello. Everybody. I'm Amanda Connoly. I live in Bedford. I've moved from London a couple of years ago. I am now a career coach that specialises in supporting professional women navigating change. So my passion is menopausal women, but it can be any woman that's going through change, transitions, redundancies, just want a better, quality of life, work-life balance. So that's the people that I actually aim to support in my business, which is called Pause and Empower.
Pause and empower. And so, what's the inspiration behind the business name, Amanda?
So obviously menopause, pause,
Okay,
and
play on words.
because I've always been a strong advocate of supporting women, but I think there's a real lack of. There's lots of talk about menopause, and there's lots of red washing of menopausal products, but actually that authentic support of women going through change, I don't think there's a massive amount of it. I hit menopause myself and realised that I was struggling finding a coach that really suited me, and then I've been in HR for 25 years, so I thought, well, I really want to support these women. Can I use my current sort of skill set? So the career coaching for menopausal women kind of naturally grew out of my passion for supporting women in similar situations. Yeah.
And I love that because we often work with people who are either previous versions of ourselves or we've had some resonance because we've experienced what they've experienced or experiencing what they're going through. So you mentioned about working with women through change.
Yeah.
What has been your experience of change?
Well, as an HR person, I facilitated quite a lot of change professionally throughout the 25 years. Lots and lots of redundancies, upskilling, downplaying, whatever it is. But then I hit perimenopause myself about 5 years ago and was misdiagnosed. So I was doing my HR job, still had all the symptoms of menopause, i.e. brain fog, forgetting your boss's name mid-sentence, or forgetting what you're talking about during a presentation. I also had fatigue, just absolutely been exhausted, and the sort of very commonplace rage. People, the world's full of idiots sort of thing. You can't really have all of those things and be an HR consultant. So when I actually realised I was misdiagnosed, and I thought, okay, yeah, I got on the HRT, and then I was just thinking, right, I am my ideal client group. I'm a professional woman that wants a big change in my life. I know what I'm doing. I have loads of skills. How can I make this happen? So yeah, so when I was, I went through the coaching academy, and there was quite a lot of focus on finding a niche, and for me, it just felt really natural to sort of support women that I am, sort of thing, because that's where the lack of support is with what I was finding. I wanted to be that support for women. Yeah.
That's really, really empowering. Pause and empower.
Yeah.
No, it really is, because menopause, perimenopause isn't new by any means. And the reason why I say that is because if we look back generationally, it wasn't a conversation that was had. It wasn't a conversation that was had amongst friends. It wasn't a conversation that was probably had with medical professionals. Definitely wouldn't have been a conversation that they would have had publicly.
No.
And so what I love is that we can empower women to go, actually, you're not alone. We all go through it, and that you've been through it. And again, I have this now, like in the future, when my time comes, I've got amazing women like you who have shared their experiences to know, okay, this is the emotion that I'm feeling, and have support on how to navigate that emotion.
Absolutely. And to be honest, I don't think a lot of women realise what their rights are around menopause, because there are lots of, requirements of a business to support. And so part of my role is, as well as coaching, I sort of guide people through, sort of if they're being exited, or, if they want to sort of, submit a flexible working request. So as well as doing the coaching, as sort of a side business is doing the practical HR support around this as well.
That's really cool that you can merge your experience as well, because often people leave one career and go into another and forget about the transferable skills that they can take with them.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the coaching came about as you transitioned out of HR. Tell me a bit more about your coaching journey at the beginning.
So I had to get a specialist coach myself that dealt with. I was put on antidepressants when I was misdiagnosed, and so there's lots of coaches that won't necessarily touch people with those sorts of issues. So I was still on my antidepressants at the time. So I did engage a coach myself, and it was just super empowering. But also, I could do that type of moment. It was lovely to work with someone that was setting and worked with me as well, sort of, because I'm actually neurodiverse, a recent diagnosis, and that kind of shines a light on how I do things, and it makes so much more sense. But the way that I worked with my own coach was very much sort of, it's hard to explain, but there was typical slicing up your objectives into chunks, and having lots and lots of them rather than big ones. So so it was really interesting. When I came off my antidepressants and got on the HRT whilst doing the coaching, that sort of just resonated with me. So I kind of went into training for my life coaching qualification, knowing kind of the client group I wanted to support anyway. I mean, I'm a raging feminist. I've always wanted to support women, but with this gap in the market of there's so many of us going through this and we don't know what to do, then it was a case of, I won't lie, authenticity is one of my values, Rebecca. I did use ChatGPT to get the title of the business, because I'm not the most creative in the world. So it was a ChatGPT recommendation, and I signed up, sort of as a limited company, and just thought I need to keep that. That's an amazing title. And I've been really, really lucky enough to sort of move to Bedford and get really involved in the menopausal sort of sector up here. So I'm meeting lots of relevant women, and I'm doing lots of pro bono work locally for women's charities, which is really lovely as well. So so for me, I guess that I kind of went into coaching knowing what I wanted, who I wanted to support. It was great to get the skill set, but I did think that the lack of supervision as a business, I think that is a big hole. I am quite, because I've worked in HR for so long, and that's very, I'm a FCIPD level on there. So for me, it's really important that we push coaching as a professional sector that's got legislation around it. And part of that, I feel really strongly that supervision is a part of continuous professional development. So for me, even though the business wasn't running, I had quite a busy year last year with some professional stuff personal stuff going on, and my clients were hit and miss. But having that supervision session has absolutely helped me push my business forward and get a bit more structure to it. So for me, that's been really useful. So, and I think that we'll always have that sort of supervision. I'd always want to feel like I'm getting supported. So for me, I think supervision is definitely on my agenda, continuous professional development.
Thank you. And you've brought us there. So thank you for bringing us there, because that's what we're going to talk about a bit, is your experience in supervision with us at the Catalysts. But I think before we even go into your current experience, how did you find out about myself and Sarah and the Catalyst? What was your first interaction with us?
That's really good, because I can't remember how I first stumbled across you. I think it was LinkedIn, to be honest. But I went to one of your meetups and had lunch and
Okay,
just
yeah.
found that this was the end of 2024, and the sessions that we had were so empowering. They were so motivational, so supportive as well. It's really, it's very lonely being a coach, isn't it? There's lots of us sat on our computers at home, sort of
100%.
serving our clients and not necessarily engaging with other people, but having that support really felt important to me. And so I went along and just valued your offering so much that I just signed up. Chose Phyllis because I met her at the networking event and just thought she was fantastic.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about in person. And you mentioned about AI and using ChatGPT because it has its benefits. The AI world does have its benefits, but being in person in the room with people also, I would say, trumps those benefits of being
Yeah.
online because there's something to be said about connection, right? Genuine connection.
Funny you should say that, actually, sweetie, because I write an article every week on my Pause And Empower website, and probably start of this year I wrote one on the benefits of coaching AI and coaching humans.
Right.
And long story short, I think the client group that I'm looking for, you need that nuance, professionalism, and you need to have that sort of experience. I think there is, if you're entry level, I think there is a place for it, but it doesn't give you any of that nuance, and that's the problem at the moment with the coaching. I personally think it's more aiding rather than coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. Please do share that link with us, and I'm sure that we can put it attached to this recording as well, because I'm sure it will be quite useful for others to read as well as for myself.
Oh, great. Yeah, we'll do.
So we met in person, we had a nice lunch, nice chat, and we saw you again as well just recently. We just had another meetup
Yeah.
again, so that's been really nice to see you again in
Yeah.
person.
Brilliant.
So what made you decide to invest in supervision? So we met and then you invested. What made you decide to invest?
I think knowing the offering that you give, like this, there's so many online courses, and you can do drop-in sessions, and you've got your supervision. So the sort of complete package itself is great value for money. So for me, being an HR person, I've always been serious about continuous professional development, and this sounded like a really easy way of achieving that. So yeah, I thought there are different sort of networks and all that, but this was very much structured how I like it to be. It's very clear what you guys offered. It would be clear what what was expected of you, clear all the other sessions you can do, and you can drop in and out of them as well. It's not like you have to absolutely schedule these things in your diary, because you record everything. You can pick it up as and when as well. So that just seemed to be a really good offering for me, to be honest.
Yeah, flexibility is really
Yeah.
important. We've got life happening. We've also got other commitments, haven't we? But just to know that you've got the support around you should you wish to have it.
Yeah, I think, let's be honest, like, most people aren't just doing coaching. Generally a lot
No,
of people still have like, at least a part-time job.
yeah.
So having that flexibility is just a practical thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So I also want to touch on the investment actually, because you said about it being quite cost effective, and I looked at it because it's 147 a month. And the reason why I talk about this is because we did a lot of research as to like how much supervision costs. And I pay my current one-to-one supervisor. I've got one-to-one supervisor, and I pay £100 per session. And I'm in a group supervision, and I pay that group supervisor £120.
Wow.
And that's for
Without the extras that you guys
oh,
offer.
yeah, it's just the supervision, right? So looking at ours at 147,
Yeah, great value.
some people will go, are you crazy? But Sarah and I know that when we were at the stage where we needed that support,
Yeah.
sometimes it was out of our reach to add on all the other things, and we really wanted to attend the triads, and we really wanted to do workshops, and we really wanted to go to a meetup, and you had to kind of pick and choose. And there's something to be said about the coaching industry and whether it's equitably fair, like in terms of accessibility to all, right? Because
Yeah.
we're all at different positions and different stages in our life journey, financially as well as in our careers. So, it might not be accessible to all,
Yeah.
but we try to make sure it is. So thank
Well,
you.
I'm a very frugal person, and I did check out the options, so I think that I'm comfortable saying that you guys are great value. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm a good haggler too, Amanda. I'm always looking for the best deal. You'll find me there at the markets haggling sometimes. So yeah, great to be like-minded with like-minded people. So, where were you at when you joined us? What was the current situation when you joined us in the collective?
I had literally just qualified from the coaching academy,
Okay.
and kind of felt like a bit of a loss because that was all massively structured, and I'd made my connections. They seemed to have a shelf life at the end of the course. We kind of dissipated after that. So for me, touching into another support system was just great timing. Sort of, I think it was 3 months between me qualifying and me signing up for the supervision, and I think that's just shows how seriously I take it. So for me, it was just really important that I didn't want to start coaching and sign up all these clients and live in my little bubble. I wanted to be connected to other coaches doing best practice work and understanding the value of what we're doing, and the trends that are happening. I think if you're alone and you're not investing in that yourself, then you can easily slip a little bit in your professionalism. So for me, it was just trying to keep me on the top of my game. I kind of need that support, and to be honest, the women in my group are amazingly supportive, and they've really kind of helped me hang on to what I want and drive through with it as well. I think if it wasn't for my group, I might have, sort of ended up just working in Woolies or something. But I'm really passionate about what I do, and having people remind you of that, and sort of your value and what you're doing it's lovely. It's really lovely. You do build up quite nice connections with the people in your groups.
Yeah, and do you know what? It makes that journey feel even better, even more wholesome when you've got
Yeah,
a team. I would say a
yeah,
team, right? A
yeah,
team of people around you to support you,
yeah.
to keep you motivated. And there's something about one-to-one supervision that I love, but there's also something even more special about group is the relationships and the connections that we build.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's really lovely.
So what are your any successes that you want to draw upon since you've joined? What anything that you're looking back and going, oh, do you know what? I really was proud of that moment.
Yeah, I think that I had a woman that I worked with who wasn't menopausal, but she was going through a bit of a life change. She was a professional woman, lived alone, lived up north, was working for a consultancy, wanted a bit of a life shift, wanted to be values led, and it was, and there were some curveballs that came up in our conversations that I kind of took to my coaching supervision that was really, really useful. But for me, I definitely felt a lot of pride when I finished that relationship, knowing that I'd delivered something that I felt was really adding value. And 6 months later, she is absolutely flying. She's relocated. She's in a, sort of NGO. She's living her best life. She's doing lots of activities, being active. And it's just, you feel like it's weird as a coach, isn't it? Because you're not doing these things for them. You're just motivating them to do it for themselves. But the pride you have when your clients are like living their best selves, it's just really warm and fluffy. I love it. So because her life changes were so significant, but she's so happy now, I think that was a really, really big thing for me, actually, knowing that I could add that value to her life. Yeah. And that was with the support of coaching and catalysts.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, because you're right. Like we support them to be at their best.
Yeah.
But actually, what they probably don't realize is how empowering it is for ourselves to know that actually we were part of that journey, part of
Mm.
their own growth. And that's what I love even more is the reflection on, oh, okay, so that's their successes, but actually acknowledging that we were in the room for that.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. It felt really good.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So, as we begin to wrap up the conversation that we're having today, for coaches who are considering joining the collective and starting supervision, what would you say? What's there one thing that you would say to them?
I would say, how seriously do you take coaching? Because if you take coaching seriously, you have to make sure you're doing things right and staying up to date with things. So for me, it's super important that you're engaging in some type of supervision, and it's up to people to go out and find what supervision is for them. But like I say, with all of the add-ons that you do and all the training that you do, that I think is absolutely great value for money. The coaching catalysts are such a lovely. I mean, every time I do the meetup, hugs galore, and that connecting with people and meeting new people, because there's people that aren't in the collective already. So you're meeting so many people as well. So everybody I've met through sort of our meetups have been absolutely fantastic, and quite a lot of them have been inspirational as well, which is lovely. So
yeah. One of the most favourite elements is the meetup for us. Apart from the fact that we love it all, but we definitely wouldn't get rid of the in-person connection. It's really special.
it is, yeah, it's lovely.
So I'm excited because we're heading into 2026. As we are recording this, we're in November, end of November 2025, heading into 26. I'm excited to hear what's coming up for you. What's something that's on your wish list for your business?
So I was with another coaching collective person that gave me inspiration at the meetup. She does some online things, and even though I've never done it before, I'm now looking to offer an online session around women's rights in the workplace around menopause. So I'm starting to organise that. It's probably looking like I might do it in January, dependent, because I don't want to rush this. I want to get it right. But I've recently I've started to do sort of Instagram. I was like, oh no, Instagram is, my client groups aren't on there. But talking to some of the coaches, I'm like, actually, yeah, it's really important that I've got my face in some of these platforms. So I rejoined Insta, that now links to a Facebook page, and now I'm going to do this online. So I really feel that the business is transitioning just from just being one-to-one coaching. I'm sort of getting out there and doing a lot more, and sort of when you can connect with lots of different people, that feels good as well. Even if people that I attend my courses don't sign up for coaching, as long as they're feeling like they're empowered to go into their sort of workplaces and ask for them and advocate for themselves, I'd feel like I've been a success as well. So yeah, so I'm excited about where the business is going into 2026.
That's exciting. And actually, there's something in my vision that I can see you kind of hosting some sort of something like in person too, because you've got such a vibrant energy and personality. So when people meet you, they'll get a real sense for that, like a real sense for genuine care, but also fun too, Amanda. I see some fun for you. So who knows?
Who
There could
knows?
be a Pause and Empower meetup for women in menopause or perimenopause. Who knows? But
Yeah, it could
just
be.
throwing that your way.
And funny you should say that, actually, because I've kind of talked about collaborating with different people over the last couple of months. So yeah, that could definitely happen.
We're stronger together, Amanda.
Absolutely.
Hence Sarah and I merging our businesses. So hopefully that
Absolutely.
inspires you.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely does. Yeah.
So, for anyone listening to this, how can they connect with you after this? They've heard you speaking today and they're really inspired and empowered by you. How can they connect with you?
Okay. So I have a website, pauseandempower.com. Easy, pause and empower. I have that Pause and Empower on Insta. I post one article a week, one long article a week on my website, and then break it down and do reels. Very exciting. Do
Oh,
reels on Insta, that kind of transfer. But also on LinkedIn, I'm Amanda Connoly, AmandaConnolly, and I do post more things on there as well. So lots of different ways people can connect with me.
thank you. And actually, they can also connect with you in person at our meetup if they decide to come along. So
Indeed, they
that's
can.
another way that they can connect with you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you so much for spending the last half an hour with me. I really do appreciate it. And I know Sarah sends her love and regards to you as well. Um,
Oh, lovely.
Thank you for being a real active part of the community, bringing us joy and laughter and good energy.
Oh,
And
thank you so much for inviting me along and sort of allowing me to share what I do as well, Rebecca. I
no
really
worries.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Maybe this time next year we'll do a check-in, see how you're getting on.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so thank you to Amanda. So if you've just watched the showcase today, we're going to try and do some more of these showcases. So please do keep an eye out. If anything Amanda has said has resonated with you, please do comment below this if you're watching this over on YouTube or over on LinkedIn, or as Amanda has said, just pop her a message over on her website or over on her LinkedIn profile, and I'm sure she'll be happy to connect with you.